So let's be clear here. Kamala Harris and her campaign decided to open their mouths about something and started putting the blame on Joe Rogan and his team, especially in regards for her trying to get a sit-down interview. Now, Joe Rogan, popular podcaster, has a very large platform, did interview Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. He's interviewed a lot of people: Bernie Sanders, Tulsi Gabbard, Andrew Yang, so many thought-provoking leaders, activists, organizers, scientists, comedians, actors, actresses, you name it. Very popular show, millions upon millions of followers. But the thing is, the Kamala Harris campaign seems to have wanted to play a stupid game. They wanted to lie. That's at least what Joe Rogan is saying. So I want to pull this up here so that everyone can witness it here as well, because I think it's important that we do address this. Now, as much as I would like to play a video from the Joe Rogan show, there is a good chance that we could get hit with a copyright strike. Got to be careful with that in this day and age. But we do have an article in which Joe Rogan decides to light up the claim that the podcast screwed over Kamala Harris. We all have the receipts. So let's go and pull this up here. This is from The Wrap. So let's go and address this. Joe Rogan says a new book that suggests he screwed over Kamala Harris for an interview on the Joe Rogan Experience during the presidential campaign is full of falsehoods, and that he has all the receipts to show that he negotiated in good faith while the campaign never actually committed. Now, say whatever you want about Joe Rogan. I'm going to have to say that I side with him here on this one, and I'll explain why. Because of the previous interviews that Kamala Harris has done with major mainstream outlets like CBS, ABC, you name it, where there have been reports that have also been confirmed that some of those interviews were edited, controlled, done safely. She's been on major podcasts as well, like the Call Her Daddy podcast, where they actually made a set, a very unprofessional looking set, by the way. That's not even the main set for the Call Her Daddy podcast, or call whatever name it was. It was all fake. It's all controlled, because Kamala Harris really, when you're talking to her, really can't stand to answer a question at all, period. A more animated than usual Rogan spent more than 10 minutes on an episode that dropped Tuesday, laying out the ways he tried to accommodate the then vice president, but that at no point along the way did her campaign ever actually express a willingness to do it. The book Rogan was surely referencing is Fight: Inside the Wildest Battle for the White House by Johnson Allen and Amy Parnes. A large section details a failed negotiation, with the author suggesting difficulties and miscommunications during the long back and forth that never led anywhere. They said a bunch of things that weren't true, Rogan said to guest Dan Richards. They supposedly talked to like 150 people about her, but they didn't talk to us, which is kind of crazy. Like they didn't even ask. Rogan says as a result, the book got several facts wrong. If there are receipts and Joe Rogan has them and he displays them all out, done properly, because probably he's going to have to talk to legal or a couple other people to do so. I mean, Democrats, how many more L's you need to take? At this point, is this like a kink that liberals like, to be humiliated? I've never seen such an embarrassment of a campaign before. Now, I've covered my fair share of Democrats and politicians who are running piss poor campaigns. But my goodness, Kamala Harris, Democrats, it's $2 billion down the toilet. I mean, if you gave me $2 billion, I mean, there's so much I could do with it, but you're really into that kink, just being slapped around. Okay, Democrats, hey, whatever floats your boat, right? Whatever helps you sleep at night. Continue on. One of the things they said that wasn't true was that we lied about the day that Trump was coming on, Rogan said. No, we just didn't tell you that Trump was coming on. He was already booked a long time ago. Trump was really easy to book, like super easy. We offered one day. He said yes, and that was it. There was no, what are we going to talk about? How long is it going to be? Is it going to be edited? There was nothing. Just to say something here as well, I've interviewed my fair share of guests. I've never had that conversation of like, oh, what's going on? Is it going to be edited or anything like that? And like, no. Like, hey, there's a guest who come on my show. We have a conversation. That's that. Kamala Harris and her campaign seem to be making a lot of demands, probably because Kamala Harris can't really have a conversation now, can she? Because she's not authentic. And before anyone says, well, how dare you say that? Oh, no, I got plenty of evidence to back me up, liberals. See, I'm in an angry mood right now. I'm furious. I am in a bad freaking mood right now because Democrats in 2019, we saw how terrible Kamala Harris was. During the early days of the 2020 primary, she starts off as a bang and ends up like a fart in the wind. That's what happened in the Kamala Harris campaign. Went broke before the first primary vote happened. Got decimated twice on the debate stage by Tulsi Gabbard. Okay, so Democrats, hushy bye. You don't got a leg to stand on. Your phalanx shield is breaking. Rogan says the book also claims that Harris' campaign scheduled the Beyonce appearance in Houston so they could be in Texas to visit him in Austin. They never agreed to do the show. None of that's true, quoted by Rogan. They never agreed, he said. They also said that they sent someone down here to the studio to do a walkthrough of the set. That's not true. The Trump administration did. That's an interesting little factoid to drop. Rogan recalled how the Harris campaign offered for him to come to Washington for a shorter interview, 45 minutes to an hour, less than a third of his normal conversations. Trump went the full 3 hours, but he didn't want to do a fake version of the Joe Rogan experience. I wouldn't want to do that either. Listen, if I even had like half of the millions of followers that Rogan has, I would owe it to my audience to be authentic as possible. That's the whole point of being involved in being podcast and everything like this. You have to be authentic. There's a reason why people are tuning in. If Rogan did that and manufactured something for Trump, do you have any idea how people would be dragging him across the coals right now? So what? Then he has to make a special thing for Harris? No, absolutely not. Rogan goes on to say, I said, look, Trump did it here. We should probably do it here. Like, if it's possible, do it here. Obviously, when he did it, it had an enormous result. I'm willing to do the same thing for her. Oh, hold on. Sorry about that. I didn't read that sentence properly. I'm willing to do the same thing for her. Wait. Oh, hold on. No one tell us AOC or all these brain dead, vote blue no matter who people. I'm willing to do the same thing for her. I wanted to release both of them on the same day. That was my goal. And you know what? That would have been epic internet history if Joe Rogan did that. As the missed opportunity has been widely seen as a major campaign blunder for the Democrats, Rogan suggested that someone's trying to preserve their job. Maybe someone's trying to say, hey, it wasn't my fault, they became difficult. No, we didn't become difficult. Joe Rogan, release the receipts. Obviously, check with your team first, make sure everything's all squared away. Release the receipts. Don't be nice. Get angry. Release the receipts. I want to see these receipts. I want to see just how smug and arrogant a lot of these people in the Kamala Harris campaign really are, because they're saying that Joe Rogan experience was being difficult. If that's true, well, hey, liberals, wait a minute. Whoa. Instead of asking Rogan to release the receipts, Kamala Harris campaign, release the receipts. Now's your time. You want to own Joe Rogan? Come on. Be a mad dog killer type. Do it. Do it, Democrats. Go ahead and do it if you got the courage to do so. But something tells me that those receipts are going to contradict everything that you've been saying, liberals. Am I being mean here? Yes, I am. Because the Democrats deserve it. And it's okay to be mean to Democrats right now. It's perfectly fine. It's okay to be smiling right now. I hope you're having a wonderful day going to work right now. Listen up, everybody, live on air. Rogan said he'd offered multiple workarounds so Harris would appear in his Austin studio, and has a whole list of conversations that took place, but not once did anyone from the Harris campaign commit to actually sitting down. So this idea that I sabotaged her, there's a bunch of people that say I screwed her over or whatever. That's not true. So you can think whatever you want. Liberals, oh, sweet liberals. If you got the receipts, now's the time to own Joe Rogan if you want to get them. Come on, do it. But hold on. I want to pull up something else here too. I'm going to pull it on out. No pun intended. All puns intended, actually. We're going to talk about this, Democrats, because, guys, Democrats, there seems to be some trouble with corporate media. And if there's ever a time I get to rag or step on or yell at or just make fun of corporate media, I will be more than happy to share it with you, my audience. Just like in the Fantastic Four trailer, we're going to sit down and deal with it as a family. Because who doesn't like making fun of corporate media? I know I do. The turmoil at CBS News over the controversial 60-minute interview with Kamala Harris has put the show's boss on the hot seat, and insiders are speculating the network could dump him, not a morning dump him, but dump him if President Trump wants his head on a spike. Good. Very good. Very good indeed. I am okay with the results of this. Bill Owens, executive producer of 60 Minutes, the 60 Minutes sound right there. Since again, misconduct, got to be careful, YouTube, used to be fun, engulfed CBS and ousted his predecessor, Jeff Fager, has remained defiant amid a fury from the rank and file over a possible settlement with Trump over his $10 billion lawsuit. The president claims CBS edited the Harris interview to make her look better ahead of the election, an accusation the network has denied. Uh-oh. On Monday, 58-year-old Owens told staffers that the edit was perfectly fine, that the company knows I will not apologize for anything we have done, the New York Times reported Tuesday. Nevertheless, CBS confirmed it reluctantly sent the full interview transcript on Monday to the FCC chair, Brendan Carr, who has vowed to fast-track an investigation into any wrongdoing, as the Post reported. On Monday, Carr told the Post he will vet the transcript in light of an FCC prohibition against news discord on our books for 50 years that applies to TV broadcasters. Some CBS insiders fear the outlook for the probe isn't good. It might not matter what the transcripts show, the CBS source told the Post. Trump might want to head to roll. If Owen gets the boot, network sources are chattering that one of the people who could replace him is Susan Zirinsky, a legendary producer who inspired Holly Hunter's character in the classic movie Broadcast News. Last month, the 72-year-old Zirinsky was named the interim executive editor of CBS News to help the Tiffany network. Okay, whatever that is, quickly and effectively deliver balanced, accurate, fair, and timely reporting, including highly complex, sensitive issues like the war in the Middle East. Oh, boo. CBS CEO George Cheeks, terrible name, said in a memo. At the time of Paramount's controlling shareholder, Sarah Redstone, praised Zirinsky's appointment, saying the network is fortunate that she stepped in. That was after 60 Minutes drew bars over a segment on the Gaza war, leading Redstone to voice concerns about the show's direction, multiple sources said. Why? Why are you concerned about it? A livid Redstone whose family stands to pocket $1.75 billion if the $8 billion merger with Skydance Media goes through, allegedly pressed CBS News president Wendy McCann to fire Owens for airing the one-sided report, another source with the knowledge of the situation said. Redstone and CBS declined to comment. The segment also drew scorn from the ADL, the American Jewish Committee, for being biased and villainizing Israel and the U.S. support of the country. The backlash against 60 Minutes comes at a delicate time for Paramount as it tries to sidestep regulatory hurdles from Trump's appointed FCC chair to compete with long-winding Skydance deal. Owens, who, like his predecessor, runs 60 Minutes as an independent fiefdom, a part of CBS News, isn't happy about having his network having his work vetted by Zirinsky, sources said. Zirinsky and Owens declined to comment. It's like a real-life succession almost. So all this around Kamala Harris and a potential edited interview? Goodness gracious, Cretaceous, say it ain't so, CBS. 60 Minutes could be going under. This is what happens, corporate media, when you give up your dignity. Because there's been a lot of reports, again, about Kamala and her team really trying to control how Kamala was perceived. It's almost as if they didn't have confidence in her, which goes right back to the Joe Rogan experience. I asked this question to you, my audience. And I think it's important that you, my audience, you, the audience, need to understand this because you guys and gals make this show happen every day, all the time. Hard Lens Media succeeds because of our audience. And it's important this day and age, as we have clear transparency, that we're made aware of just how corrupt and sick our system truly is. And so I remember asking this question to you, my audience. And I just want to pull it up here just to share it with all of you. And I'll leave it as a good note. With only 649 votes, You, my audience, weighed in. And here's what you said. I asked, now that the election is over, do you think if Kamala did go on the Joe Rogan show, would anything change? Whopping 69% said no. If Kamala went on Rogan's show, it would be a disaster. 2% says things would be different. Drinks copium. 14% say Democrats can't really let this go. And of course, 15% said deep dish pizza, and I don't care. And this is in regards to a story that we did in regards to Kamala Harris and her team saying that the interview that Joe Rogan did with Donald Trump was very traumatic. There was nothing traumatic about the Joe Rogan experience or his interview with Donald Trump. But it says a lot about Democrats now because they're being called out, and they have to be called out. They should be called out for their hypocrisy. You want to put all the blame on podcasters or other outlying elements for the fact that Kamala was and will forever be known as a terrible candidate. Simple as that. So cry me a river, show the receipts, or shut the hell up about it.